That's the one. G'day everyone, in this video I'm going to teach you how to turn your lawn into a putting green. It's quite easy and it's a bit of fun to do, especially during the growing months. I'm also going to go into things like Plant Growth Regulator and Grooming and Low-Mowing and explain how it's all intertwined and works to give you such a fantastic result like what I've got here. First off, you've got to really have a grass that's suitable for putting, and my lawn is a tiff-tough lawn. It's a couch. While I'm doing a putting green here, it's just for a bit of fun. It's not going to be a professional grade level, and the whole idea of it is, just to have a bit of fun and to really learn about how to get our lawn nice and low. Now last week, this lawn had basically just recovered from its spring renovation. I just started using Plant Growth Regulator. I'll go more into that as this video goes. A week ago today, it was at 12 mil, looking really, really lovely. And yeah, the decision was, I'm gonna do a putting green this year and lower the height. So straight away, I've gone as low as I can on the Allet, which is the mower that I've got at the moment. I'm doing a quite an aggressive cut from 12 mil right to 6 mil. That's breaking the 1/3 rule. So that is going into the crown a little bit, so it's going to look a little bit choppy, but look, that's all right because you're going to have the recovery afterwards. And look, this is a week after that, so this is looking fantastic. So it shows you how quickly it goes. You know, doing that low cut mow, you really find your thin areas. When it's all open and exposed like that, I want basically some leaf growth and some coverage to go back into the area. What I've done there is I've put down Charger 400 mils just by itself per the 100 square meters, and that produces fantastic leaf growth. Within 3 days you can see that it's working, and like today 7 days, and you can see we're pretty much all covered compared to what we were a week prior.
So a quick detailed recap after a quick edge to make the area look nice, and I'm really getting fussy with it, that's for sure. Lowered the mower down to the lowest height, which is 6 millimeters, and give it a mow. As you can see, it's going into the crown. It's looking a little bit scrappy, but look, that's the pain that you got to go through. One thing that really is painful to watch is you're losing your dark deep green colours and coming back with a light green colour. It's a bit disheartening, but look, it's all for the greater good. Straight after the mow, I did a groom that's lightly vertically cutting into the grass to cut the stolons and control them, and also pull up a little bit of thatch and create some growing points. After you've done it, you'll notice that the lawn doesn't really seem that much different, but this really helps with the control and making it much more uniform down the track. So I go on a different angle from my mow, and then I do another angle just to mix it up a little bit and get all those stolons. I'll actually pull the grass up a little bit too. So I did another mow at 6 millimeters and picked up a full bucket. And as you can see, this was quite an aggressive mow. So what we really need to concentrate on now is getting it to come back and rebound quickly. So that's why I'm using Charger 400 mils per the 100 square meters. It's quite a high dose. It basically will get the leaf growth going, and the iron in Charger will also get those colors looking really, really nice. And this is 3 days after, and as you can see, it's working very quickly, very well. Remembering it's still under the control of the Plant Growth Regulator, which I applied a couple of weeks ago. It's keeping it nice and low. And from the street perspective, even though it looks scrappy up close, it looks all right.
So yeah, we're just going to put a golf hole in. I just got a golf hole from David Golf. Cost about 50 bucks or something. Just a bit of 100 mil PVC pipe. Got a couple of holes put in it, so I can just do that. I've just sharpened the edges. This is just in here, and I'm just going to mark it out a little bit better with a knife, just to help this cut the surface a bit. Now get this out of the way before I knife myself. A bit of downward pressure and side to side here. Here we go. It down, twist it round, so then you start pulling this up, it'll come up.
Wow. Wow. Hello 2023 soil.
That's right, yeah.
We did this one in September 2023, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, so you'll be able to see the different profiles here when I push this out.
Go.
Whoop.
Wow, these are from 2023.
You can see that there's the sandy stuff there and the original stuff, which is a bit darker. Down here, this is the Lawnporn top dress and how much we've gone up. And as you can see, that's 100 mil there. And the roots are down right at the bottom there. Nice big healthy root system for the stiff tough lawn.
Because Dad, if you live in America, you would call autumn fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've taken out a fair bit of material there.
The idea of the cup centre is to ensure that the ground is not
Have to centre it.
support it.
There we go. Yay! Oh, missed one. Beautiful. That's the one we want.
Now this is day 6, straight after putting the golf hole in. I've done another 6mm mow, and this mow went really well. Put a little top cover in there to replace the flag, and away I go. This mow was a little bit hard to do, and I had to really concentrate about what I was doing because initially I couldn't really see the lines that well, especially mowing it up from the other direction that the camera's in, and it was a little bit hard to see. However, I took my time and I was very careful about it, and then as I went into it a little bit more, those lines actually started appearing, and in my vision maybe the sun got better position as I was doing it, because it was a bit of a sort of an odd cloudy day when I was doing this. And after I've done that mow with the directions following the front of the house, I've gone in the diagonal direction following the line of the driveway. It mixes it up nicely and I think it looks rather neat. Mowing in a few different directions is also going to ensure that I'm not laying the grass over in a certain direction all the time doing the same pattern, which I'm a bit guilty of. And this is all the clippings that I've got, not very many as you can see. And to further enhance the effect of the lines and also the cut and the roll of the ball, I've done a double cut, and this is at the same height, 6mm. Those double cuts will also fix up any errors in your pattern if you want lines to go a certain way, but it also will help the ball roll quite significantly. This cutting height is exactly the same as what I did last week, and you can see that the lawn is maturing to the cut a lot better and handling it a lot better. There's a lot less thatchy spots and exposed spots. It just means that the lawn is really tidying up to that cut, and look, it's looking really good. I'm very surprised again about the lines at this level. I'll be breaking out the Mow Master soon to make it even more short and better, but look, you know, you can have a lot of fun with 6mm mow of the other, that's for sure.
That's the one we wanted.
The next part of the video is talking about plant growth regulator, grooming and low mowing. Now, I totally apologise for the length of the discussion that I took, but there's a lot of information to get across. So if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But if you do, good luck, and I hope I don't make you go to sleep.
All right, so some people might think that, you know, you've got a cylinder mower, that's all you really need to get nice and low. It's not as easy as that. I wish it was as easy as that, but it's not. Look, if you really want to just, you know, have a bit of fun and muck around, you know, sure, a low mow with a cylinder, have a bit of recovery, you'll have a lot of fun. But if you want to get into it a little bit more, you really need to take care of your stolons, and your stolons are above ground runners, and they basically start crisscrossing over each other as the lawn thickens up. So you've got to control that. But I'd like to call it the circle of the low mow, because low mowing is much more than just using a cylinder mower to mow low. Short low mowing, you need a cylinder mower to do that, to get down to the heights of 6mm of what I'm doing here. But you also got to worry about your above ground runners, because what happens is they'll crisscross over each other, and it sort of grains the area and it makes it look kind of uneven. Sure, those runners are natural and everything like that, but you need to control them and basically let the lawn, you sort of need to thin out the lawn to let it thicken up, and I'll explain a little bit more. about that, but Plant Growth Regulator limits the vertical growth, sends it laterally. That's great for managing clippings. You'll get a lot less clippings when you're doing a mow. So it basically denses up the lawn. At the same time, it'll also grow the root zone a bit deeper. And a nice dense lawn is going to be much more resistant to weeds, much more healthy, and certainly limit evaporation a lot better as well. So it's just a much more healthier turf. However, those lateral runners that you get with the Plant Growth Regulator, they need to be controlled. And so that's when grooming comes into it, because grooming basically lightly vertically cuts those runners, limits them. It also creates more growing points within the top of the crown, and basically from that, from the growth of those points that it makes in the crown, it'll thicken up from that point. So it thickens it up at a micro level, not a macro level, so to speak. And also that grooming will also pull up gently thatch that's underneath the canopy. Remember that it's a very light cut. There's lots of little blades. When you groom, basically the area sort of doesn't look any different really. It looks a little bit roughed up, but basically, yeah, it'll you got to thin it out to thicken it up. So Plant Growth Reg, obviously going back to the top of the thing, low mowing, that's going to get you low. Plant Growth Regulator, that'll keep you low. Grooming, that will basically control the lateral growth and create more growing points. And then when it thickens back up again, it'll be much more consistent, natural, and much more uniform, and just looks so much better, and make it so much easier for the lawn to be maintained at a low level.
Even though that I'm 1 week in my journey of doing the putting green, you can see that the low mowing, the grooming, the Plant Growth Regulator are all getting me a fantastic consistent result. I tell you what, I'm really going to super enjoy nailing this result and making it just so much better as I go a little bit lower and make the lawn more thick and more consistent and create a fantastic surface for the ball to roll. I really enjoy this part of the process of looking after your lawn and making it look as good as possible.
So that charger really did a fantastic job over the week. It's really made some beautiful colours. I mean, this is a hugely deep dark green for this time of the year, considering this is Tiff Tough and considering it's going down to 6 mil. And the thing is, the next mow that I did was with the same setting, and it mowed up so much better. So you can see the difference there. And I'm even surprised that I was getting lines in both directions. So, at 6 mil, that's fantastic. That means this lawn is really thickening up and doing very, very well. Well, I've certainly reached the limit with that Allet because it doesn't go any more than 6 mil, and you can see that you can have a lot of fun putting at 6 mil. But the next thing I'll be doing down the track is with the Mowmaster, I'll be going a little bit lower because that could go down to about 3 mil. And I don't think I'll be going that low with it, but certainly 4 mil, I reckon I'll get a really nice surface and also look nice and green. Might lose my lines a little bit, but that's not here nor there. But the plan going forward with the Plant Growth Regulator is that I'll use that on a regular basis. I'll monitor the growth and keep grooming. Groom probably 2 to 3 times a fortnight. That's about the rate that I do when I'm really maintaining it and really keeping on top of it. But it's just a personal preference thing, and with the Plant Growth Regulator as well, sometimes you just might be happy with it as it is. You don't need to mow it too much. You might be mowing once or twice a week and maintaining a fantastic green. That's the plan moving forward. So Plant Growth Regulator, how the action of that works, and I've got a bit of a scale here, is that the x-axis is your clipping rate or your vertical height, so to speak, or sort of like the top being the normal growth and down the bottom being the controlled growth. And of course the axis down the bottom there is time. So when you put your plant growth regulator down, and it's beneficial to put your plant growth regulator down with a product like Green Light, a nitrogen iron. Basically that will mask any possible effects of discolouring the turf. And a lot of people think, and I also think as well, that the plant growth regulator used with a product like Green Light really makes that colour really deep into the turf. So that's another benefit as well. But anyway, getting back to the point that I'm making. So you've got your normal growth at day 0, and then you apply your plant growth regulator. That takes about 3 to 5 days to start working. Usually for me, it's around about 3 days. And you start noticing that the control starts happening. The lawn isn't growing up so much, and it starts to thicken up. So after 3 to 5 days is when it starts working. After that, so that week 1 to week 2 area is when the control is the most. So it is really controlled. You might not notice much growth at all, but you certainly notice that the lateral growth is improving, and you can actually, see the difference between my weeks. You can certainly see the difference that I've got between, when I mowed this down to 6 mil, it was quite scrappy, and then within 3 days it's really starting to fill up. Well, that was about when the PGR was at its control height, because I used plant growth regulator about 2 weeks before doing that mow. So anyway, that 1 to 2 weeks, that's when it really holds, and then it starts letting go after that, and that's basically called the rebound. You'll start noticing that the vertical growth is happening and the normal growth is happening, and you may be mowing more, etc., etc. So in that 3 to 4 week area is where I like to reapply my plant growth regulator again once I start seeing a little bit of rebound. Now you can really get into making sure that it's perfect like the whole way of time, and basically what it's called is called growing degree days, or GDD. You can basically plug the values into the Syngenta app. It's quite handy to use, and basically you set a value, 150 or 200 I think is a value. I did growing degree days last year, and I noticed that I was using PGR almost on a fortnightly basis. It does get quite hot here, so when it gets hot it really chews up that plant growth regulator action quite quickly. But after that, using growing degree days is basically it's got a bit of a formula. It's taking temperature of your low temperature of the day and the high temperature of the day, and sort of averaging it out and working out how quickly the plant growth regulator action gets used up. So when it starts getting low, it'll give you a little reminder to reapply. Now there's also the thing of stacking, and look, that is when especially people that are on a tight fortnightly program using growing degree days and using high rates of plant growth regulator, is that when they're reapplying the plant growth regulator, there's still quite a bit of plant growth regulator action happening in the plant. So they can get some ill effects, some discoloration, some weird things happening to the turf. But that'll grow out obviously, but I don't want that. And I kind of like the look of a bit of rebound in my turf anyway. So that's the way I sort of go. And it's now 3 weeks since I've used plant growth regulator, and for reference I did 10 mils per 100 square metres. My next application I'll probably do about 15 mils per 100 square metres, but that's as high as I'll go, and that's using Primo Max. That'll give me some really nice tight control, and continuing to groom, continuing to low-mow, that'll really manicure this area. And as this area is still maturing to the cut, it'll take about a month to 6 weeks to really mature and tighten up, and look just totally perfect. Coming from a renovation, but you know, that's the way it goes, and you know, that's the way I go about it. And for people that are using Plant Growth Regulator for the first time, I would definitely say start at a low rate, start at like 5 mils per 100 square meters. If you've got buffalo and you want to use Plant Growth Regulator, you probably want to just stay at a low rate and reapply sort of like every 3 weeks to a month, simply because you can do some weird curling things to the leaves, and you don't really want that. But certainly it helps with making the nodes grow closer together in buffalo turf. And look, you know, buffalo turf, you're not going to be doing certainly in buffalo turf, you're not going to be doing a putting green anyway. But you know, that's where that is at. So anyway, thanks for watching my video today. And next thing I've got to do here is I've got to make some graves because it's Halloween today. So looking forward to doing that with Heidi, who's got a pantomime across the road. So it's all happening. And thanks to everyone that, first off, I want to say thank you to everybody that's given me and my wife messages of support. My wife's going through a bit of a health battle at the moment, and prognosis hasn't been great for a bit of time, but it's definitely better now, and we think she's going to be okay. So, you know, any messages of support that you want to give, comment below. I'm sure she'd really appreciate it, and our family would really appreciate it. And it's a great little pick-me-up because she's going a bit stir-crazy here at the moment, being home and not being at work. So that means I'm working a bit harder as well. So that's why I haven't been doing so much content lately, but you know, we're getting on top of that. So thanks everyone, and comment below.